All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Awesome. So we are going to wait just a few minutes to let a few more attendees trickle in. But while we wait, I just want to explain how you can use the Q&A function during this webinar. So the chat is disabled, but there is a dedicated Q&A box that you can use for questions. I recommend that first you listen closely throughout the webinar, as your question might be answered during the webinar content itself. And also, before you ask a question in the Q&A box, make sure to review any other questions that are already in the Q&A box. You'll be able to upvote questions. So someone might have already asked a question that you have, so just make sure to upvote that instead of re-asking the question. I have two colleagues who are here on the back end, Selena and Holly, who will be answering questions in the Q&A box. I won't be monitoring the chat or the Q&A box as I'm presenting. So they'll be taking care of that, and it'll be easier for them to keep track of questions and see questions that have the most upvotes. But as a reminder, we can't guarantee that we'll be able to answer all of your questions tonight. So if you have additional questions after the end of the webinar, just please be sure to email questions@questbridge.org. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. For people who are just now joining, the Q&A box is open, but just a reminder that we're going to be covering a lot of content throughout the webinar. So try and save your questions until you know if it's been answered or not in the webinar. So my name is Avery Harwood, and I work on the high school outreach team at QuestBridge. And I'm excited to walk you through the content today. So I want to start off by saying, I know that some of you might be feeling disappointed about not matching, which I totally understand. But my hope is that as I walk you through this webinar about QuestBridge Regular Decision, that will help you see how you can push forward and how you can continue with this process, and that this is truly not the end of your college admissions journey, but instead just one step. Many QuestBridge scholars every single year do not match to a college, but are ultimately admitted to a college partner through a different admissions round, and then go on to attend the partner and be named a QuestBridge scholar. People in this very photo right here were also students who did not match and went on to be scholars. So I just really want to emphasize that. During this hour, we will start off with some general information and benefits about your status as finalists who did not match, and then we'll look at 3 questions that you might have on your mind at this point in the process. So 1, what are my options following the match? So we'll review about your next steps and the timeline that is approaching for you between now and spring. What do I have to submit? So we'll walk you through additional materials to submit for your options following the match and how to keep track of them. And then 3, where should I apply now? Because you've already researched our colleges during the rankings process, you might already have a great idea of what is and what isn't a good fit for you. However, you also may be at a place where you're wondering if you want to focus on any other, perhaps new to you, colleges for regular decision, whether you did or did not consider them in the rankings process. Reminder that not being matched to a specific school is not a reflection of your chances of being admitted there. I'm going to say that one more time because I think it's really important for you all to hear. Not being matched to a specific school is not a reflection of your chances of being admitted there. Our college partners have specific requirements for matching students that you might not have fit, but that doesn't mean that they're not interested in your candidacy for regular decision. So we'll take a look again at researching colleges for best fit, just so you can consider expanding your list or what colleges you want to apply to during regular decision. So again, I'm going to keep emphasizing this. The National College Match journey doesn't end after match day. Like I said before, many of our current QuestBridge scholars were finalists who originally did not match, but are now currently attending one of our college partners after being admitted through a different admission round, such as QuestBridge Regular Decision. So this is possible for you too. So I'm going to talk you through how it's possible. So we get a lot of questions about what the difference is between QuestBridge Regular Decision and standard independent applications through each college. And many people ask us, which is the more beneficial route in terms of your chances of being admitted? So what's important to remember here is that the colleges purposefully partner with us at QuestBridge because their intention is to actively seek outstanding students from low-income backgrounds. So being highlighted by QuestBridge will make you stand out. You've been selected as a finalist because we believe you have the potential to be admitted to one of our college partners. And many of our college partners will actually prefer that students use the QuestBridge application over the common application, since they feel that it offers a more complete picture of the student. Applying through QuestBridge Regular Decision is really the best way to ensure that a college partner is informed of your finalist status when reviewing your application. Also, you benefit from using an application that is to highlight your own unique experiences, and through the regular decision form, your application fees to our college partners are all automatically waived because you were named a finalist. So imagine paying to apply to every single college partner that you'd like to apply to. I will note that many of our college partners offer waivers if a student is applying through another application. However, those waivers can take some time to process. So that's just another consideration to keep in mind when you're thinking about paying for applications. And then in QuestBridge Regular Decision, it's really important to note that you can still receive substantial financial aid from the college, because all of our college partners guarantee to meet 100% of demonstrated financial need. And as I mentioned, if you ultimately are admitted and decide to enroll in one of our college partners through regular decision or other early options, you'll then join the QuestBridge Scholars Network, which is a growing community of students from across the country who share common experiences, a commitment to giving back, and a dedication to academic and professional achievement. The Quest Scholars Network provides a supportive community on campus, as well as networking and leadership opportunities. And after you graduate, you would then join the QuestBridge Alumni Association to be a part of a lifelong community of scholars. It's also important, though, just as a reminder, that admission to all QuestBridge college partners is highly competitive and is not guaranteed to finalists. So you should also be researching other colleges outside of QuestBridge to apply to through regular decision. We really recommend applying to a range of reach, target, and likely schools in addition to any QuestBridge college partners. All right, so let's walk through your timeline from here on out. So we will discuss how you can apply to colleges through QuestBridge Regular Decision in the following slides, but it's also important to keep in mind that there are steps you can take before applying for regular decision. So your first step, if you have not done so already, is to closely review your admission opportunities in the decision letter that you received on match day. We'll discuss the type of options available shortly, but it's important to note that some schools will automatically roll you into their early action or regular decision admission rounds, while others will require you to take immediate action in order to be considered. So aside from early decision and early action, there is QuestBridge Regular Decision, but I want to first spend some time looking at the early action and early decision opportunities first, because it's a great option if you have a top choice college and might require immediate action on your part. So if you want to see if a college you ranked will consider you for early action or early decision round, first you want to check your decision letter. At the very bottom, you'll find information about your admission opportunities following the match. And then for additional information, you can navigate to each college partner's application requirements, options following the match. So you can see that in the screenshot. There's options following the match table, yellow, and you can click that and see your options there. We also have a page on our website called Options Following the Match, which will help you quickly navigate to each of our college partners' options. So one of my colleagues will be dropping that link in the chat right now. And so you can use that for easy access to understand what your options are. All right, so now we're going to take a look at one college partner's option following the match as an example of what options you may have. So let's say that I ranked Boston University, but did not match on December 2nd, and it is my top choice school. The example that's posted on the screen is exactly what you see on the options following the match page. And so if you're reading that, I can see that if I reach out by December 4th, 2 days after match decisions are released, I can be considered for admission in their early decision pool, or I could be considered in early decision 2 if I email by January 6th. So just a reminder that early decision is binding, and you may only apply early decision to one college partner. While multiple of our college partners may offer you an early decision opportunity, you will need to consider which school is the best for you and only choose one to apply to via regular decision if you choose to do so. We think this is a really great opportunity, and we definitely encourage you to explore your options. Each year there are students who do not match but are accepted just a week or two later through early decision by a college that they ranked, or in January or February for early decision too. Colleges might not be able to match with you for any number of reasons, but they still might want to accept you with a generous financial aid package. If a college you ranked will consider you for early decision, read the instructions in your decision letter, as you may need to take immediate action to be considered. If you choose one school to apply to through early decision, please note that you're also still welcome to begin the regular decision application process for other QuestBridge College partners by submitting the QuestBridge Regular Decision form. Then, if you're accepted to the college that you applied to through early decision, at that point, you would then need to withdraw those other regular decision applications. Also, just an important example on the screen is just one example of an option after the match. Remember to carefully review the information at the bottom of your decision letter and to check out each college's options following the match, as they can vary from one another. And if you have any questions about a specific school's option, please contact the admission office directly. All right, so aside from your school-specific early decision or early action admission opportunities, you also have the option of applying through QuestBridge Regular Decision. So you can apply to any of our college partners through the Regular Decision form, including schools that you did not rank or schools that you may have ranked but then removed from your ranking list at some point. So some schools will consider you in their regular decision admission pool automatically if you ranked the school. So again, looking at Boston University as an example, you can see that they will automatically move your application into regular decision if you ranked them. So you should still include this school in your QuestBridge regular decision form. Also, as you can see, if you change your mind about a school and no longer wish to be considered, you'll need to be active in communicating this to QuestBridge and to the college. It's also really important to note that only some colleges will consider you in their regular decision pool automatically. The process between automatic and not automatic consideration is the same. You still will need to select the schools on your QuestBridge regular decision form either way. The only difference is that for your schools that automatically roll your application into regular decision, you'll need to reach out to them if you no longer wish to be considered for any reason. All right, moving on. I've mentioned this next requirement a few times, so you might be wondering, what is the QuestBridge regular decision form exactly? So I'm going to walk through that now. So the QuestBridge regular decision form is what you will use to notify us at QuestBridge which college partners you are applying to. After the form closes, we will send your application to the colleges that you specify on the form. And then after we send your application to the colleges that you mark off on the form, each school then has its own process for sending you portal access emails, which is how you will submit your regular decision requirements. The schools will receive your application around December 12th, and they might take a few days to process. So if you don't see a portal access email right after December 9th or right after December 12th, that's okay. You want to allow a typical, a few days for processing time. If at that point you still haven't received an email, be sure to check your spam and junk folders, as emails can end up there. But if you still haven't heard from them within a couple of days after December 12th, be sure to contact them directly so that they can best assist you. The form is found on your QuestBridge application on the Rankings and Regular Decision tab. You can also find it on the Manage page of your application in the section beneath your application checklist. And you should select all schools that you wish to be considered for regular decision admission, including schools that you ranked, even if they automatically rolled your application into the regular decision pool. You'll notice that the colleges you ranked will automatically be selected in the form, so you should only uncheck them if you no longer wish to be considered for regular decision by those schools. And note that if you uncheck them, you'll see instructions for withdrawing, as unchecking on the QuestBridge regular decision form does not necessarily mean that your application is officially withdrawn. Also, just want to note that unlike the match, admission through QuestBridge regular decision is not binding. You'll be able to edit your QuestBridge regular decision form as many times as you want, and you can continue to decide, what schools you want to apply to. So if you're sitting here and you've already submitted the regular decision form, but you're wondering if you can edit your form, you can. You can simply go back to the form and click Update to make changes. Just note that after the form closes on December 9th, at that point, only the schools that you indicated on your submitted regular decision form will receive your QuestBridge application from us. Another important thing to note here is that you're not done after submitting the regular decision form. So just because the form closes, it does not mean that your application to the schools are indicated, or that you indicated on the form are complete. Instead, it's the first step in that process. You will have to submit supplemental materials called regular decision requirements in addition to the regular decision form. This might sound familiar to you as you submitted match requirements for the match. So we'll dive into what that looks like after we finish walking through the timeline. And please note that if you submit your form early, even if you submit it early, you've already submitted it, we do not forward your application until after the regular decision form deadline of December 9th. So it's after that date that you'll begin to hear from colleges about setting up portals and how to submit materials if they're required. As a resource, we have a video about QuestBridge Regular Decision on our YouTube page that walks through this form in great detail. So I definitely really recommend watching this to get any questions answered. I'm going to have one of my colleagues also drop this link in the chat. Definitely really recommend watching it. You can find a ton of answers to your questions in that video. All right, so after the regular decision form closes, each college partner you select will receive your QuestBridge application. Each school's admission review committee is responsible for selecting students and reviewing all materials. So if you have any questions at this point, you should reach out to the schools directly. And then you are responsible for beginning your regular decision requirements, such as supplemental essays or sending official transcripts to the schools that you're applying to through QuestBridge Regular Decision. In January, you will need to submit the regular decision requirements directly to the colleges. Some colleges will have deadlines as soon as January 1st or the first few days of the year. So just make sure that you're planning ahead and paying attention to their own deadlines. Some materials are due later on in February or March. So deadlines vary by college. That's a difference between your regular decision requirements and your match requirements. It's not all the same deadline for your regular decision requirements. So you'll have to keep track of what all you are responsible for submitting by when. We're about to cover what these requirements may be and also some resources that will help you keep yourself organized. But also just want to reiterate a quick note on QuestBridge, on non-QuestBridge colleges. So our college partners are all highly competitive. So we always recommend to keep researching schools that are in your target and likely range that are not affiliated with QuestBridge. You'll want to ensure that you have a variety of options for schools in the spring. So it's really beneficial to submit the right materials and meet the deadlines of non-QuestBridge schools in case I get accepted to a QuestBridge college partner. A good thing about working on the QuestBridge regular decision requirements is that a lot of the same materials can be used to apply to your target and likely schools. An example of that are some of your financial documents or the FAFSA or even some of your essay content. In the spring, our college partners will alert the students who have applied to them whether they were accepted or not. So remember that our colleges have committed to meet 100% of students' demonstrated financial need. And if you're accepted to a school, they will have a financial aid package breakdown for you. If you are admitted and decide to enroll in a college partner in the fall of 2025, you will have the opportunity to join the QuestBridge Scholars Network. Any QuestBridge finalist who attends a college partner is a part of the QuestBridge Scholars Network, no matter what round of the application process they were admitted through. All right, so as we noted earlier, the regular decision process does not end after submitting the regular decision form to QuestBridge. And similar to the match process, there are additional school-specific materials that you'll need to submit to the schools directly. So now I want to explore what this part of the process will entail. So regular decision requirements are the materials that you have to submit to each school that you select on the QuestBridge regular decision form. These requirements are very similar to the match requirements that you submitted for the colleges that you ranked. And if you already submitted materials to the schools you ranked, you will then need to submit fewer requirements to them to consider you for regular decision. However, you should always double check to confirm that you didn't have any missing match requirements, such as financial documentation, in case you still need to submit those as part of your regular decision requirements. Similar to the match requirements, these regular decision requirements are specific to each college partner, meaning that their requirements vary from one another. But one thing that is different, as I mentioned, from match requirements is that regular decision requirements deadlines also vary between college partners. So these various deadlines range from January through March of 2025. So it's really important to note those various deadlines and plan ahead. I also want to emphasize that these colleges' admissions and financial aid offices are there for you to answer your questions. So we really encourage you to reach out to them if you have questions that arise when you're working on one of their regular decision requirements. They really are the best source for the most accurate information possible for their own specific regular decision requirements, and they are there to help you. So you all are already familiar with the types of materials that a school may require after completing your match requirements. So I'm not going to go over these in too much detail, but I do want to take a quick look at a few different examples and note a few things. So one specific thing that is worth addressing is that the FAFSA has recently opened. And you might not have submitted that before the match requirements or before match day. So although it opened later than it has in previous years, you will still be required to submit the FAFSA as part of your regular decision requirements. So now that it's open, we recommend that you complete it as soon as you can. If you have any questions as you're filling out the FAFSA, we recommend visiting their website directly, studentaid.gov. So again, someone's going to drop that link in the chat for you, but we recommend that you review that website and that's how you'll start your FAFSA, and that's also where you can seek support if you have questions as you're filling it out. I also want to highlight the mid-year report. So the mid-year report is a form that your counselor submits that includes your first term grades from your senior year and should be submitted as soon as those official grades are available. Your counselor should submit your mid-year report directly to the schools that you are applying, and it should not be submitted to QuestBridge directly. So it should only go to the schools directly to the colleges that you are applying to. Some QuestBridge college partners will require the QuestBridge mid-year school report form, while others require the mid-year report to be submitted through the common application or other school-specific application. So for more information about the mid-year report, including how to submit it to the schools that will require it, we encourage you to explore that page on our website. So another link coming your way in the chat that we recommend saving and looking at for more information about the mid-year report. All right, so similar to match requirements, you have the same resources available for use to keep track of your regular decision requirements. So these are our college partner pages and a tracking tool within your QuestBridge application on your Manage page. So as a reminder, in terms of strategy, we really recommend viewing the pages for each school to see their options following the match, their regular decision requirements on their own individual pages on our website, and then using the tracking tool within the Manage page of your application to help you keep track of everything and stay organized. Also, remember that at any point, if there are any questions that are not answered on an individual school's page on our website, then please contact me. Their contact information can be found at the very bottom of each college's application requirements page. So I really encourage you to check that contact information specifically on our website first before you send an email to their general admissions office, as some schools might have a specific QuestBridge contact. And so if you reach out to them, you might get a faster answer, and you'll make sure that your message is sent to the best person to give you an answer as quickly as possible. After you submit your QuestBridge regular decision form, you'll then have access to the tracking tool. So the tracking tool is a chart that you can generate by selecting schools that you're applying to. And this chart will include an overall look at the regular decision requirements materials that you'll need to submit. It'll also be provided to you in the confirmation email that you received once you submit your regular decision form. But just a reminder that this is an optional resource for you. So if you don't end up using that, that is okay. So I want to do a quick walkthrough of how to easily navigate to our college partners' regular decision requirements from our website. So I'm going to wait for it to start again. I'll let it go through a few times. So you'll see I'm going to click on the college partners page, which is, or on the regular decision page, which you can find with the top tabs on our website, and then our regular decision requirements will list all of our college partners. When you click on a college partner, it'll take you directly to their regular decision requirements, and you'll see two tables. One is an admissions materials and a financial aid materials page for your regular decision requirements. And you'll see that those requirements vary. So you'll see those check marks that depend on if you ranked the school or if you did not rank the school. So that is how you can find our requirements. All right, so now I'm going to move on to answering your question of where should I apply now and how you can continue researching college fit. So we know that you've already done some great research on colleges to apply to during the rankings process, but we really encourage you to expand your list for QuestBridge Regular Decision, as there are truly amazing opportunities at each of our college partners. So before we dive into our regular decision worksheet that we'll talk through for a few minutes, I want to remind you or introduce you to some research resources that we have available for you. So we encourage you to scan the QR codes on the screen to find our college partner web pages, a playlist of college partner videos on YouTube, and our top colleges at a glance booklet to learn more about all of your options for regular decision. As a reminder, all 52 of our college partners meet 100% of demonstrated financial need, so it's really worth it to consider schools from our list that you might not have heard of before or you might know little about. So I'm going to give everyone a minute to scan these QR codes so that you can go back to them later and review them later. If you aren't able to scan them all in time before I go to the next slide, this webinar is going to be posted to YouTube, so you can always go back there to find these. But I'm going to take a sip of water while you guys scan the QR code, and I'll be back in just a minute. All right, hopefully that gave you some time to scan these QR codes. But again, if you aren't able to, no worries, this will be added to this webinar recording will be added to YouTube, so you can go back and check those there. You can also find these on our website. All right, so speaking of resources, we're going to share with you the regular decision research worksheet, which you might find helpful as you start thinking about thinking about expanding your own regular decision list. So what we're going to share in the chat with you is an editable PDF link, so you can type directly into the document and save it to your computer. So one of my colleagues is going to drop that link in the chat now. Once you click the link in the chat, it should appear in your internet browser tab, and you can fill it out there or you can print it out instead. So that should be coming your way shortly. All right, so I think that just got added to the chat. So now I want to review the worksheet. So this is a college research worksheet that we've put together to help you as you finalize which schools you want to apply to. If you use the rankings worksheet right after the National College Match deadline, this worksheet might look familiar, but it's not the exact same. So I'm going to review the differences now. So the first step is to jot down an overarching theme, strategy, or reminder that you have for yourself as you're researching schools. So an example of a personal strategy would be research as many college partners as I can with an open mind. It's really just a way to kind of center yourself, to be very mindful as you are researching college partners and considering what schools are a good fit for you. And, you know, if you didn't do this in the match, it is totally okay to do this now. This is a great time to kind of create a personal strategy for yourself. The second step is to determine which factors are most important to your success and happiness. So you really want to think about the things that you're looking for in a college, and you can categorize them below in must-haves, like-to-haves, or low priorities. So you want to remember to reflect on the different kinds of college fit. So there's all different kinds. An example would be academic. So that might be considering what available majors or minors are important to you, or if it's important for you to have the freedom to personalize your curriculum. Another kind of college fit would be community or social. So the student body size, diversity, student interest organizations, those would be some things to consider here. Another type of fit is geographic. So distance from home, seasons and weather, urban or suburban. Those are the different kinds of questions you can be asking yourself in this section of the website. Of the worksheet. The third step is to jot down your familiarity with our college partners so you know which ones you still need to do research on. So you might find a new favorite in your unfamiliar category. You truly never know until you do the research. So that very familiar is for schools that you know well because of family, friends, proximity, or teachers. Relatively familiar is for schools that you recognize or have heard of and would like to do more research on. And not familiar is for schools that you do not easily recognize or have not heard of and should research further. Finally, the fourth step is to create your list. So I'm going to zoom in on these 3 columns in this fourth step to provide a bit more context. So in the first 2 columns, you will categorize schools that you plan to apply to. Based on your research of colleges that you list in part 3, you'll discover which schools have the college fit factors for your personal happiness and success. So those non-negotiables and like to haves that you listed in part 2. So at this point, you'll have a pretty good idea of which college partners you definitely want to apply to and which you possibly want to apply to. It's also important to consider what non-QuestBridge colleges to apply to. Because admission to QuestBridge College Partners is highly competitive, it's really wise to apply to a variety of target and likely schools that are not QuestBridge College Partners. So to ensure you have a healthy range of options, we recommend applying to at least 3 non-QuestBridge colleges in regular decision. So these could include in-state schools, public schools, or other private colleges. And when you research these non-QuestBridge schools, be sure to take into account things like the average GPA and test scores, acceptance rate, and the average financial aid package for admitted students. All right, so now we are going to answer some of the most common questions we receive. So I'm just going to review this FAQ slide, and then I'll have the chance to also take a look at the Q&A box. I know my colleagues have been responding to those as well throughout the webinar. So yeah, but first we'll go through these frequently asked questions. So one question is, who should I contact if I have any questions related to the regular decision requirements? So as we stated before, and we'll keep stating it, for any questions about your regular decision requirements, you should contact the colleges that you're applying to directly and reach out to the school that you have a question about directly themselves. So to find their contact information on our website, you can go to our list of college partners, then you'll select the college partner of interest. That will open up their page on our website, which then you can click the application requirements tab from that overview page, and that contact information can be found at the very bottom of that page. So I'm going to show another clip for how to do this. So I'm going to wait for the GIF to start over, but you'll see this is the contact information is under those different regular decision requirements tables that I've already showed you. So you can go to the college partners list on our website, click a college partner, then you'll go to the application and requirements tab, and then scroll all the way down under the tables, and you will find their contact information. As a reminder, sometimes that contact information is QuestBridge specific contact information for a specific team member who is able to address questions for QuestBridge applicants. So just be sure to always check those there. Another question is, what should I do if I cannot successfully submit all regular decision requirements to the colleges by their deadlines? So if you'd still like to apply to the school, we recommend that you reach out to the school directly and not to QuestBridge itself to ask if they have flexibility with their regular decision requirements deadline. So some of our colleges might be flexible in receiving materials that take some time to process. So to find a college partner's contact information, again, just a reminder, you can find that on our college partners list of college partners, and you click their individual page and you'll find their contact information. Yeah. Do I have to submit the Common App or the Coalition coalition application, is there a fee waiver? So some of our college partners require or accept the common application as a regular decision requirement, but be sure to check each school's application requirements to see if the colleges that you are applying to do. You do not want to submit the common app or coalition application for college partners that do not require it as a regular decision requirement, as sometimes multiple applications on file for one student can create issues on their end. The Common App or the Coalition fee waiver information for each college partner may also be available on their application requirements page on our website. If it's not included for the colleges that you're interested in, then be sure to reach out directly to those colleges to inquire further. Can I use my National College Match application essays and recommenders for the Common App? And the answer to that is yes, and we encourage you to do so. So for your essays, just remember to adjust any word limit differences and make sure that you're still answering the prompt. And then for your recommendations, if your recommender doesn't have a copy of the recommendation that they submitted for you through your National College Match application, then they can email us at educators@questbridge.org to request a copy of their recommendation letter, so that they can then resubmit that letter through the Common App. But they'll need to email us directly to make that request. Next question. How do I file the FAFSA for the 2025-2026 school year? So the 2025 to 2026 FAFSA is now available for you to complete, and we recommend completing it as soon as possible to ensure full financial aid consideration. Students are able to list up to 20 schools on the FAFSA and can add or remove schools after submission. So for more information on the new FAFSA, we recommend that you visit studentaid.gov and contact their support team directly for further questions. Okay, so can I exclude test scores submitted on my National College Match application from consideration at a college partner? So our test optional college partners will allow you to indicate whether or not you want test scores submitted to QuestBridge to also be included as part of your application review by that college. So for instructions on how to do this, you will need to go to each college partner's page and navigate to that application requirements page and then review the testing section of their regular decision requirements. Each school's set of instructions may differ, so you want to be sure to read that closely. If you have a question that is not answered on the school's page, or if the way for you to remove your test score from consideration is not addressed on that part of the table, then you'll need to contact that school's admissions office directly, and you can find their contact information at the bottom of their application requirements page, as we've mentioned. All right. Can I include test scores received after the National College Match deadline in my regular decision applications? Yes, most colleges will allow you to submit new test scores to them directly as part of your regular decision requirements. So for instructions, just go to each college partner's page, go to their application requirements again, and review that section. And if you have a question that's not answered, you can reach out to them directly about how to get that new test score submitted. All right, so I want to end, and we have time to answer questions, so I'll definitely be taking a look at the Q&A box and helping there. But I want to end first with some inspiration from a student who did not match, but was admitted in a later admission round. So Sadiqa was admitted to Penn during regular decision after she was not matched to a college. And in her time at Penn, she's gone on to be very involved in the QuestBridge Scholars Network and take really great advantage of unique opportunities provided to her as a QuestBridge Scholar. One of those includes serving as a conference assistant at one of our QuestBridge National College Admissions Conferences last summer. So I want to read this quote aloud for a little bit of inspiration. Not getting matched was not the news I hoped to hear. While I was obviously heartbroken, I knew that my QuestBridge journey wasn't going to end there. I worked through the month of December for QuestBridge Regular Decision. My QuestBridge experience has been filled with ups and downs, but I am so extremely grateful to be a QuestBridge Scholar at Penn. So I know that this moment right now, after opening your match letter, might feel like a down in your QuestBridge experience, but there is still hope, and we really recommend that you continue to work through your options just like Sadiqa did, because you could end up being admitted during a different round and still becoming a QuestBridge Scholar. So Thank you again for joining. Before you leave, again, I just want to reiterate once more that not matching is not a rejection, and that many QuestBridge scholars on our college partner campuses were admitted through regular decision or other admissions routes. So we really hope that you feel confident and empowered in taking on these next steps of your college admissions journey. You've put in so much hard work, and all of that work that you've already put in has brought you this far. And the effort that you'll continue to put in the next few months is well worth it. So myself and the entire QuestBridge team are cheering you on and are here to support you as you enter the home stretch of your college application journey. And we really believe in you. So